I'm in the village of Hambleden in Buckinghamshire, and the reason I'm here today is because in 1966 this was the main location for the village of Hedeby in the cult Hammer horror movie The Witches. Westfield Road here might not be much to look at, but this is where they filmed the opening scene of the film, showing Joan Fontain's character, Miss Mayfield, as she drives into Hedeby. Now, we're only actually a couple of hundred yards from the village centre here, and this little road goes from the centre back up to the main road. Now, if we follow this round to the left, this will take us to our next location. Okay, now behind me here is the old village bakery, which was used as the main shop in the film. Now, this is our first glimpse of Hedeby, and as you can see, it seems to have changed very little in the 50 or so years since the film was shot, which is quite remarkable, and it's also true of a number of the other locations that we're about to visit. Only thing is, though, that's now somebody's house. It's not a shop anymore, so don't expect any bread there today. The old bakery was used for several key scenes in the film, as were the houses just left of it there, particularly the end one, which is used as the Dowsett family home. And as you can see, look pretty much the same now as they did then. The next place we see in the film is the butcher's shop, which is where Miss Mayfield stops to get directions. Which, as you can see, is still here and looks pretty much the same as it did all those years ago. This was another key location that was used several times in the film, and if we look either side, there's a couple of other locations that could be glimpsed either side of it. First of all, we have the garage, which we could see as Miss Mayfield drives off. Then if we look round over here, we have the Stag and Huntsman pub, which we can see in a couple of scenes. Now, from the way the film was shot, you'd expect to see the old bakery down here, but as you can see, nothing down there but a dead-end road and someone's private driveway. This was all down to crafty camera work, which gave the impression that both locations were on the same stretch of road. In fact, there's one scene where Miss Mayfield's walking back from the village store. We see a Parsley's cottages here, which are opposite the butcher's. In reality, these locations are on opposite sides of the village. But if we follow the road down and round to the left, that will take us to our next location. Hambleden Village Hall, which was used as the front of the school. Now, the reason I say they use this as the front of the school is because the scenes filmed in the playground out back were actually done at the real Hambleden School, which is about 800 yards down the road in that direction. We'll be taking a look at that one later. Only the exteriors were filmed here though. All the interiors were filmed on a studio set elsewhere, so there's no point in trying to look inside here. Now, I believe the reason they used the village hall for the school is presumably because of its central location to the village, plus it had these cottages here conveniently located next to it, which they could use for Miss Mayfield's house. One thing I'll show you while I'm here, whilst the church in the film was shown to be in ruins, if we look around here, as you can see, Hambleden Church is in reality in a very good state of repair. Now, the filmmakers had to very carefully film around this, so not to give the game away, but owing to its size and location, you can actually glimpse it in a couple of shots in the background. However, if we follow this road round, it will take us to our next location. This is the Back's house, which in reality is a village manor, and as you can see, appears to be having a bit of building work done to it at the moment. Now, apparently this is the home of the Viscountess Hambleden, if Wikipedia have got the facts right, that is, and is obviously someone's private home, so I'm not going to go barging on there to get any better photos, but you can just about see from here that that's the same location that they used in the film. Okay, we're just a few hundred yards south of Hambleden village here on Skirmets Road, which is the main road that goes past the village. Now, this entranceway here actually goes up to what used to be the old Hambleden Village School, which was also featured in the film and hopefully we'll be taking a look at shortly. However, the reason I'm stood on this patch is because it was a stretch of road where Miss Mayfield stops to pick up Mrs. Dowsett. You could actually see the top of Hambleden Church in the background, and if you look closely you can probably see it over there, though they probably hope no one would notice. Then as the camera pans right, you can just about see the old building in the background there. The building is apparently an old rectory named Kenrick's, which overlooks a cricket ground, which is just past the Butcher's and the Stag and Huntsman pub, which I mentioned earlier. Now, as they drive off, they chat for a little while before Mrs. Dowsett insists they pull over by Grandma Riggs' cottage, which is located here just up the road. Now, in the film they appear to drive for a couple of miles before they pull over, but in reality they've only travelled about 100 yards or so. Now, the cottage was used a couple of times in the film and really hasn't changed all that much, apart from the trees around it are a bit taller now. Here we can see the front of the property, which, as you can see, seems to be having a bit of building work done to it at the moment. Now, I'm actually on a public footpath here which runs past the property, so I've been able to film this without getting into trouble. If we follow this footpath around, it should take us to our next location, the back of the village school. Okay, well, this is about as close as I can get without actually trespassing, but this was the old village school. This is where they filmed all the scenes in the rear playground. Now, I believe the school closed down sometime in the 1990s, and it's since been turned into a private house, so the back has changed quite a bit here. Now, kind of difficult to look round the front, as the front of the building's only accessible from the rear here, and there's a large head in front, so you can't see it from the road properly. Now, this is probably another reason why the filmmakers chose to use the village hall for the scenes at the front and not this place. If you look closely in the film, you realise this has to be in a different location, as you can see all open fields and rolling hills in the background, whereas what you should be seeing is the back of the house in the village. But again, crafty camera work and careful editing leads you to believe these two buildings are somehow one and the same. Okay, we're back in the village here now. Just to get some perspective on the real layout of the village compared to how it appears in the film, that road over there is the road Miss Mayfield drives in on, past the old bakery. There's the village church, which as you can see is not in ruins. If you go over there and round to the left, that's where the manor house is, which was used as the Back's house. Whereas, if you go straight on down there, that's where the garage, the butcher's and the pub are, which is on completely the opposite side of the village to the bakery. Then, over here, we have the village hall and cottages, which was used as the school. And if we go about 800 yards down that road there, that's where the real school was, where they filmed all the scenes in the backyard. And behind me, that's the current village store. And that is how Hambleden became Hedderby. Hope you've enjoyed my little tour of the village. I'm just enjoying a swift drink at the Stag and Huntsman pub before I head for home. Now, it's worth noting, though, that the village has been used for many other films and TV shows over the years. If you've seen Midsummer Murders or Band of Brothers, you might recognise some of the locations here. They also filmed parts of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and the 1998 Avengers film with a lot of finds here. But to me, this will always be the village of Hedderby from The Witches. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.